Hi all, this is Allmighty and welcome to this video. So today I've prepared you a game suggested to me by a subscriber. It is a very exciting game, a game played 70 years ago in 1948 in New York. It is a game played by between Boris Siff and Isaac Kashdan. So actually two players that aren't that familiar to the chess masses today. Actually, when I was researching for this game, I couldn't even find a picture for Boris Siff. And on the other hand, we have Isaac Kashdan, who at that time was actually quite a known chess player. He was called Der kleine Capablanca, which in German means the small Capablanca, because he got a reputation by playing his games. He often got himself in a kind of a strange situations and difficult positions, but in the end he always kind of got out of them successfully. So that's where the nickname comes from. But essentially, not just that, Alexander Lekhin in his prime told like everybody, that probably Isaac Kashdan will be the one who will succeed him as a world champion. But as it often is in life and in chess, you cannot always get what you want. And essentially, Kashdan had a lot of problems with financing, so he didn't have a lot of money. And in those times, for actually becoming a world champion, you had to have at least some amount of money to actually first actually challenge the world champion. But Kashdan actually his prime was during the Great Depression, and that didn't quite help in his effort to become a more famous chess player. But okay, today I guess we are left with his games, his beautiful games, and definitely this one of the better games I've seen in a while. So I guess we can at least enjoy that. So that being said, let me show you the game. We have d4 and knight to f6. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. Also played in 1948. c4, e6, knight to c3, and bishop to b4, going for the Nimzo-Indian. Queen to c2, one of the main lines, and now d5. a3, pushing black to make decisions. Will he capture on c3 or play bishop to e7? We have bishop to e7 by black, and here c captures on d5, e captures on d5, allowing black to actually develop this dark square bishop. We have bishop to f4 and c6, stabilizing the center, and now h3. So something that, you probably wouldn't see that soon played actually in a game today. Like normal developmental moves would be knight to f3 or e3, but okay, nothing wrong with h3. It will be quite useful later on, but essentially not really played that soon in the game, probably preventing this bishop develop to g4 at some point. We have castles, e3 now, and rook to e8, occupying the e file, bishop to d3. Yeah, definitely always this good battery of the queen and the bishop, knight from b to d7, and knight to f3. Now knight to f8, as we can see, both players are still developing their pieces. Knight to e5, and now bishop to d6, attacking this knight. We have castles and knight to e6. So essentially white has finished his development. He is enjoying his game, enjoying his position, and black still has a problem of this light square bishop. Usually a problematic bishop in these kinds of openings when white plays d4 and you have the Slav variations and also this variation of the Nimzo-Indian. h3 was played, g4 isn't a good square. These pieces are eyeing the f5 square. Developing bishop on d7 doesn't do much, and also on e6 he is used as a pawn. So this bishop definitely needs to be developed somehow, and black needs to find a way. So bishop to h2 was played here because the bishop was attacked, and now g6. Having an idea, putting the knight on g7 and then bishop to f5. This is just one of the ways how you can develop this bishop, because black probably didn't want to play b6 here, because now the c6 pawn would be very weak. We have knight back to f3, and now knight to g7. Bishop captures, queen captures, and a rook from f to c1. Now that we entered middle game, it is obvious that both white and black need to create some sort of a plan. And white makes his plan obvious from the start. So by playing this rook to c1, he definitely wants to keep pushing on the queen side, push b4, probably knight to a4, knight to c5, or even a4 at some point and push b5. So in order to occupy as much squares as possible on the queen side, and this is how he planned to improve his position. And because of this, now black actually can continue to play in the center and on the king side. As you can see, both of his knights are here, the queen is eyeing here, bishop is eyeing here, and also the rook is on e8. So first we have bishop to f5, developing the bishop, finishing the development. We have knight to d2, and now doubling the rooks on the e file. First rook to e7, b4, and the other rook comes to e8. Now we have rook a to b1, so white doesn't really care what black is doing, he's just continuing with his own plan. And now actually the move that starts the fun. We have, instead of exchanging this bishop on d3, we have bishop captures on a3. So that strange move h3 from the beginning kind of doesn't look good at the moment. We have g captures on h3 and rook captures on e3. So at this point, the game is still equal. The sacrifice was valid, nothing wrong there. But white now needs to go in the defensive mode. His main problem is that most of his pieces are on the queen side, while the attacking is going on the king side. Because now if pawn captures, you have queen g3, and now are two options for the king. So we have king to f1 or king to h1. If you play on h1, you have queen h3, king g1, queen captures on e3, king to g2, queen g5 check, king to f1, and now knight to g4. Threat is knight to e3, picking up the queen. So rook to e1, we have queen to f4, knight to f3, you have to sacrifice at least a knight, queen picks it up, and now king to g1, for example, queen to g3, and if queen blocks, then rook captures, queen captures, and after bishop to f1 and knight to e3, black is just winning this game because he will pick up on f1, and then on c3 he will have a knight and 4 pawns. So this is one of the variations. For example, if king goes to f1, so after queen to g3, king goes to f1, then you have rook to e3. And here there are a couple of possibilities. If you just ignore it, if you play a4, keep in mind that there is queen to h3, king to g1, and rook to g3. Now king has to go to f2, knight to g4, king to e1, and a rook to e3 check. Now the knight can block, for example, queen to g3 check and king to d1, because there is this king to f1, then queen to f2 checkmate. But now there is this fun checkmate also, because we have knight to f2 check, king to f1, knight to d3 check, king to d1 back, and queen to e1. As you can see, a lot of pieces on on the same place in the same area, and in the end, white cannot go anywhere with his king. So those are the possible variations that could come up. Most of this stuff is forced, and definitely there aren't many variations to it. If you, instead of that, place something like knight from d to e4, then even pawn can capture on e4, knight captures, and then a rook to f3 check. And then the game continues essentially. Even if king to e2, you can grab the knight and play rook to f2, picking up the queen. Black is just better here. So you don't want to capture the rook right away. Here white played bishop to f1, which is the best move. Here we have knight to f5, continuing with the attack. Now pawn captures and queen to g3 check. And now here actually white could have gotten out of this, maybe even get a draw, or even a better position out of all of this. He could have played king to h1. And now here probably continue with something like knight to e3, and you sacrificed at least one knight. Your queen is attacked, but also you attack black's queen. Now if knight captures, then knight captures again, rook to e4, and queen to h2. There is always a possibility of this queen to h2 now, and after queen to f3 you have king to g1. You're defending your bishop, you're defending any possibilities of checkmate, and still you're a rook up. So here white could have gone for this, but instead of king to h1, he played here bishop to g2. But this allows queen to e3 check, and now king has to go somewhere. He plays on h1, and now we have knight to g3 check, king to h2 is the only move, and now queen to f4, looking for some discoveries with the knight. The king is in the attack, and now knight to f3, bringing another defender. We have rook to e2 now, and essentially here This was actually the last move where white at least could have gone for something like he could have played king to g1, but of course we see that rook captures on c2 and rook captures on c2. But essentially what happens is black has given up two rooks, and white has given up a queen, and white has a piece. The attack still continues, but white has better chances because there is no rook. Pretty much everything is defended. Knight to f5 is the next move, playing to knight to e3 jump, but essentially, yeah, white has at least gotten out of some trouble. But here, actually, white, so Mr. Siff picked up the rook. So after king to g1, so instead of king to g1, he picked up the rook. And this gave just a simple knight to e2 capture. The only move, king can go only to h1, and now knight to h5. And here, what was the possibility? You could have gotten like something like queen to e2, but now knight to g3, king to g1, knight captures on e2, king to f2, and knight captures on c1. Just a winning game for black, because you cannot capture the knight because the rook will be captured by queen. So even that does work in white's favor. So probably because of that, Mr. Siff didn't go for queen captures the knight on e2. But he played even worse move. He tried to exchange queens, but this gave Kashdan a very good opportunity to create his immortal, because now he played knight from h to g3 check, king to h2 only move, knight to f1 check. So a double check from the queen and the knight. So king to h1 only move, and now queen to h2. The only move is to capture the queen, and now in this position he played knight from f to g3 checkmate. So yeah, a beautiful ending for a beautiful game. It all started with that h3 kind of dubious move in the opening, which in the end, yeah, black sacrificed a bishop for it and got his great attack. The sacrifice was okay. In the end, white shouldn't have lost the game, even after, yeah, that position where he could have played king to h1. He couldn't gotten out of it, but luckily for us, he didn't go out of it, because we couldn't have seen in the middle games after 33 moves this beautiful checkmate with the two knights. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this video and this game. I'm really glad that this game was suggested to me by a subscriber. If you have any other suggestions like this, some kind of immortals, please do suggest them. I will gladly cover them. So that being said, I would like to thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.